Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Kakudash, and double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawadah from the Men of Valor campaign, Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video in sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing to be edifying. And I wanted to do this video today. I was watching, just scrolling TikTok, and I guess there's this interview I keep seeing bits and pieces of with Charleston White. Now, Charleston White, he's a nigga in the world, all right, but he does speak some truth, about, certain situations concerning race, concerning relationship dynamics and whatnot. And the conversation he was having with Tasha, I think her name is, I can't think of the woman's name. Tasha something, some lady that be doing interviews and stuff. Tasha K or something like that. I'm not sure. But anywho, you just look back in, as we approach the end of 2025, see how things have been unfolding, and you just look back at the relationship dynamic between man and woman and how it's been utterly destroyed, is another reason that we want righteousness back on the earth, okay? Because we want to see the natural relationship of man and woman, in a healthy, a healthy relationship ordained by the Heavenly Father. Because under this devil, he's the one that created strife between man and woman, because he elevated the woman above her position within the household. And, Esau is responsible for that. He's given these women liberty. And look at what has happened, in place of all of this. All right. Divorce rate is high, broken families, and it hits Jake, because we were already under the curses. It hits Jake, 30 times harder, because we were already in a fucked up position. But it's crept into these, other nations as well, man. The Northern Kingdom, Esau, even Ishmael and these other, if they allow the American mindset to be adopted into their life, then, their family structure is bound to go down. It might not be in one generation, but definitely in 2 or 3. So that's what we're seeing. All right. But this isn't normal. Okay. You see relationship, talking points between man and woman. You got the whole red pill situation. And, going back to the scriptures, we see the Lord has set up guidelines as to, how a man and a woman is supposed to move within the household. Okay, the Lord set up the structure, and if it wasn't important, it wouldn't be written. But it is important, because that's another reason we want the kingdom of heaven. We want the family structure to be back, in a healthy position, man, where love is at the forefront of it. It's a true union between you, that woman, and Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, man. But Esau, just like he's fucked up everything, has fucked up the family structure, and women don't love men, and women don't love men, and men don't love women. Especially amongst the our people. The so-called black woman with her liberty has straight up ran the so-called black man away at this point. It's nothing to see, Jake with women of the other nations. It's recommended now, because we were taught that it's normal to have to deal with, that bullshit. All right. But the scriptures, all right, hold the answers to everything, man. History, all right, our law, how we conduct ourselves, faith, okay, future prophecy, wisdom, and also the relationship dynamic between man and woman. So I just want to read through some of this, through the spirit. I'll jump around here and there, but it does hit home, and it is relevant when you just, sit and look at how everything is now, and just how off course everything really is, man. We need that correction. We need that reset. Okay. Cause it's not, the Lord didn't make man to hate woman. He created woman to be a helpmeet unto the man. All right. As a man, we love women. Okay, we don't hate women. We hate women that are out of order, and they're out of order because of Esau's ass has given them liberty to gad abroad. And it's going to speak on this a little bit. You know, these scriptures were written thousands of years ago, but just look how relevant they are to our life now. Okay, so let's get into it. Sirach chapter 26 and verse 1 says, "Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double." And these women, first of all, they're not virtuous out here, man. All right, first of all, everything is about them. You know, me. What can you do for me? And the moment you stop making them happy, or they see something else, or they want to level up, and they got these phones and they got men all in their DMs, and they think they can get attention elsewhere. Okay, they'll leave your ass, man. You know, even Tom Brady. Tom Brady is as far as accolades, is the most successful NFL football player in the history of the NFL. And his wife even divorced him, went to another man, got pregnant. Okay, so that show you the fucked up situation that America and the world is in right now. All right, but blessed is the man that have a virtuous woman. See, our women in the kingdom will be virtuous. You know, their minds will be fully toward serving and pleasing their man, and it's going to be beautiful and in perfect harmony. Verse 2, it says, "A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace." Okay, having a woman that's down for you, that's virtuous, that's modest, that's not all loud and shit. Okay, you can live out your life in peace, man. And that's something that has been stripped from, especially the Israelite man, peace. All right, even you can see on Facebook, you know, a woman knows she's supposed to be her man's peace, and she has no desire to be the peace to her that her man needs, man. Being that pillar of rest, has no desire to. Okay, verse 3, it says, "A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord." See, everything is from Yahweh Shem Yahweh, and the Lord blesses you accordingly. Okay? Brothers that have been in different relationship dynamics, brothers have been with women and had to leave those women, even had children, But as an Israelite man, at some point, you got to put your foot down and respect yourself, man. And the Lord will put women in your life, according to, his purpose. Okay? There might be a time where you ain't dealing with too many women at a time, but hey, there might be a time where the Lord is drawing women towards you. We know as Isaiah 4:1 approaches, because of the instability of the government and of the society, we know that women are going to start to gravitate toward the men with the most stability. And it doesn't necessarily always mean monetarily. Okay? Our spirits are stable. The spirit of an elect man of Yahweh Shem Yahweh, Lord willing, we be of that fold, is stability. Okay, he's a stable man. All right. But a good wife is a good portion. It says, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. So as a man, if you fear Yahweh Shem Yahweh, he's going to send you a good woman. And we know not too many of these women are good, but he'll send you a decent woman, that likes you, that ain't trying to fuck you over. Okay. The Lord is balanced. Not every one of these women out here just utter demons. Most of them are. All right, but you're not gonna see the decent women because they're not all on social media. You're not gonna see them all posted up, spreading their ass cheeks on camera and shit. Nah, man. But the Lord got them out there, and He's gonna bless you, brothers, with these, with these women in due time. Verse 4, it says, "Whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart toward the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance." Exactly. Because money doesn't do anything but amplify who you are, man. Okay, so, there's times where you'll be without. There's times where you'll have, more than you need at the moment. And, hey, if your heart is good to the Lord, you're going to be cheerful. It don't matter if you're all fucked up, financially and whatnot, man. If your mind is toward Yahweh Shem Yahweh, we're going to rejoice in this truth, man. Regardless if you got a little bit of money or you got a lot of money, man. Verse 5, it says, "There be three things that mine heart feareth, and the fourth I was sore afraid. The slander of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude." All right, that sounds like a YN convention. "And a false accusation. All these are worse than death," man. It's just going into different things. All right. Slander of a city. All right, hey, and they're slandering, Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, and we're being slandered. We're being told that we're a hate, we're a hate group. We're this, we're that. Okay, we're pedos, we're rapists. The Lord hates that, man. It says the gathering together of an unruly multitude, man. All right, and most of these people just in general are unruly, man. Amongst our people, amongst these heathen. All right, the Lord doesn't like that. It says, and a false accusation. And who's the main accuser, man? Esau's ass. It says, all these are worse than death. So, hey, so you know how the Lord feels about that. Verse 6, it says, but a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. And this right here, man, this scripture hits so heavy today, because think about, you see some of these videos of like so-called cheating and shit like that. Now, you'll see situations where it's a man, he'll catch his woman on some bullshit. But for the most part, you'll see a lot of wickedness with women that'll catch their man with another woman, and they'll be trying to fight the woman, and they'll be wrecking shit and destroying property. Because what, you jealous over another woman because another woman desires your man? You were created to share your man. Okay, and these women still to this day, they don't want to accept it. You don't have to accept it. All right, but when circumstances call for it, you will accept it, or your ass just not going to live. But that's the grief of heart and sorrow. It said that's the grief of your mind. Is a woman that is jealous over another woman, trying to go through your phone and see who you're talking to. All right, if you apply that to today, man, like that's like, damn, man, that hits home. It hits home. It's like, damn, man, you don't want to be dealing with, a woman. That's why brothers ain't really trying to be, all living all up under a woman and shit, man. That had its season, And it's not every brother's spirit. All right, that shit, it chokes the word, man. All right, obligate, because she's not worried about serving. How about Shemi Al-Shah? That's your job as a man. She's supposed to serve you, but this society doesn't push for her to serve you. It's all about her feelings and her emotions. Okay, and it says in the scourge of the tongue, which communicated with all. Just she's just a gatherer bride, just talking to everybody, And this society just allows that. Even when we be at camp, man, these damn heathen women, especially Edomite women, they'll stop and they'll try to talk to us, or they'll try to interact with us. The husband, he'll just be going straight. All right, but the woman, she want to stop because she got the authority, man. She knows she do. When you married, man, it's like a fucking humiliation ritual. Right? When you married in today's society, because everything is wicked here, man. Verse 7, it says, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. And he that have held, let me read that again. Verse 7, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that have hold of her is as though he had held a scorpion, So that's an evil wife, man. All right, and I can say, man, I've experienced that firsthand. It's a yoke shaking to and fro. It's just like, damn, man. What's a yoke? Like a chain, like shackles. And it's shaking to and fro. It's hitting your skin, hitting your ankles, hitting your bones and shit. Just like that shit hurts. Okay? Like holding a scorpion. Verse 8, it says, a drunken woman and a gatherer bride causeth great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. Yeah, she ain't going to be modest. She ain't going to be a woman. She going to be all over the place. All right, you hear about these women, I got drunk, and these guys ran the train on me. That's because that's the type of mischief that be going on, man. When these women don't try to cover themselves, man. All right, this is how these women move when they have no moral compass, no guidance or anything like that. They could Esau just allowed their ass to do what they want. All right, and it's straight up they've destroyed themselves, and they're still not happy. They've been given all the liberation, and they're still not happy. Okay, verse 9, it says, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. All right, you can see it in her eyes. They wear them cumbrellas, them damn big ass them thick ass eyelashes. Looking like baby caterpillars on their damn eyes, man. All right, the makeup, all that shit, man. You could tell the whoredom of a woman. All these women be dressing alike, looking alike. There's a baddie look. The look of a baddie. The makeup and all that shit. It's all the same. Okay. But going back to the beginning of the chapter, speaking about a virtuous woman, a modest woman, a loving woman. All right, but this is what we're dealing with now. All right, we're trying to get back to where our women actually respect us. All right, but right now, and once again, you got to lay blame where it belongs, on Esau's ass, because he's giving them the authority to be able to do this. All right, verse 10, it says, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. See, these women, they're going to abuse themselves. There's the septum ring theory. They get all these tattoos, face tattoos and shit. They go get all these piercings. They go get BBLs. They go get breast implants and shit. Just abusing themselves through overmuch liberty. You got too much time on your hands. You don't have any order, any structure about you. The scriptures had warned us about this, man, and now we're seeing it. And that's why, man, this was the biggest learning experience. Verse 11, it says, watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee, man. And that applies to that daughter, but it applies to your woman as well. You got to watch over her ass, man. Stay on her. They think they so damn slick. And it says, marvel not if she trespass against you, man. Don't be surprised. All right, brothers done got their heart broken, man, in the truth. All right, and that's why we move a certain way toward these women. You can't put shit past these women, man. Verse 12, it says, she will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he have found a fountain and drank of every water near her. By every head she will sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. She gonna get slutted out, man. A whore, the average woman body count is way more than one. A woman's supposed to have one husband. If the husband dies, she can get another husband. But a woman ain't supposed to be having all these sexual partners, man. Esau made that shit he normalized that too. And that's what this goes into. She gonna open her quiver against every arrow. Verse 13, it says, the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. Her watching out, looking out for her husband. He gonna be good. He gonna be good, man. She ain't stressing him out all the time. It's gonna fatten his bones. He gonna be healthy, not frail, not malnourished, nurtured. Because of the main role of a woman is to nurture. Okay. Verse 14: a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. All right, you're not getting that for the most part amongst the women of our nation. You tell them, man, you tell the so-called black woman that, man, she gonna look at you like you got two heads. A silent and loving woman. But those women do exist, man. And the Lord has brothers, meeting some of these women. It's scary. It's like, damn, it's shocking you, because if you've only dealt with, a woman being combatant, disrespecting you all the time, and then you actually meet a woman that's silent and loving, that's nurturing, that looks at you with admiration, that holds you in high regard, that doesn't verbally abuse you and shit. It's like damn, because the Israelite man we just been beat down, man. But now we see things changing, because now these damn heathen women, man, they know, their internal compass knows that we are next to rule. They might not understand it, but they can tell that there's a power shift happening. Esau is going down and Jacob is coming up. All right, verse 15, it says, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. These women don't be shamefaced, and they're not faithful. They be, man, you see these videos on TikTok. Like I said, you see the scriptures speaking out on day-to-day life, man. Okay? Whether it's how men and women move versus, how these nations move, how Esau gonna move. All this was already, written in the scriptures. So even how these women would move. All right? It says a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace. These women aren't double graces. They're not shamefaced and faithful. They got niggas all in their phone. They got a backup guy. This is unheard of, man. We living in hell right now. Verse 16, as the sun when it ariseth, in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. And these women don't care to order their house. They'll destroy their house, man. All right, verse 17, as the clear light is upon the holy candlestick, so is the beauty of the face in ripe age. As the golden pillars are upon the sockets of silver, so are the fair feet with a constant heart. My son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. Exactly. It says, when thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed, and trusting in it, and trusting in the goodness of thy stock. Because it's the Lord that gives that increase. All right, you sowing in faith, man, you're going to reap it. Verse 22, it says, and harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. So a harlot, a whore, all right, which that's the mass majority of women in America, just to keep it real. You're going to have outliers here and there, but it's the system itself that has granted this, this continuation of just these wicked ass women, man. Harlots. All right, it says, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. She's crucial in his survival. Verse 23, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. See? And that's why we don't be feeling bad for it. We be seeing these damn fucked up situations with these celebrities. For instance, like Cardi B and Offset, then, bro, he a wicked man. So, and, a wicked woman was given to him as a portion. All right. And brothers have been in situations with, wicked women, so to speak. And if you fear the Lord, he going to let you escape that woman, man. I'm a testimony to that. He not going to keep you in that situation forever. He going to provide you a way to escape. It says, verse 23 again, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. Yeah, and so it reiterated that. So, hey, brothers, have faith. If you ain't dealing with a main squeeze right now, the Lord got to prepare for you. All right, you got to have faith in that. Verse 24, it says, a dishonest woman contemneth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband. Okay, she won't speak bad about her husband. She's going to, hold him in high regard. All right, because the woman is the glory of the man. She's supposed to be an image of, a representation of your provision and stability. All right, that's why she's allowed to be soft and delicate. All right, because you are the foundation as the man. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be. Verse 25, it says, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. Right, what's a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog? What's a female dog? A bitch. Okay, and most of these women are shameless, but a shamefaced woman will fear the Lord. And not too many of these women, even that claim to be Christians, they don't fear the Lord, man. Verse 26, a woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all, but she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all. Okay? These women, man, think about it, man. Think about these women get on the internet and they talk shit about their husbands, man. And they're going exactly against what the Lord commanded a good woman to be. So we see why the judgment has to go down, man. All right, they just straight up in violation. Okay. Verse 27, it says, a loud crying woman and a scold shall be sought out to drive away the enemies, man. A loud crying woman just bickering and bitching all the time, man. All right. These women, they don't want to read these scriptures, of course. They don't want to read it, but it's in there for a reason. All right. Verse 28, let's finish the chapter out. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty. Right, you got these veterans out here that be homeless and stuff, man. The Lord hates that too. See, America got a lot of violations, all right, against it. It says, in a manner of understanding that are not set by. it says, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin, the Lord preserveth such as one for the sword. All right, so that's why, hey, the Lord puts emphasis on us not following out the truth, man, because the Lord hates that too. All right, a man that turns from righteousness back to sin, all right, you got the sword prepared for you. All right, and that's why we continue to serve the Lord with fear, man. We don't, we're not perfect. The Lord isn't requiring that perfection. However, He's requiring effort, man, and endurance. Continue to feed the flock, feed the sheep. Verse 29, it says, a merchant shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong, and a huckster shall not be freed from sin. And that's going into merchant. All right. He said he shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong. He don't want to be seen in a bad light because that's his business. Your business is tied to your name. You doing bad business, people won't do business with you. All right. But I just wanted to read that chapter, man. It's a lot of good points that hit home. Like I said, that are very relevant to, how we move around today. How we see reality, how reality ended up shaping out before it manifested, before America was founded. The conditions of the place were already prophesied, of how these women would move, how certain men would move, how the prophets would be in the end times. All right, man, this was the Lord's story. All right, and it was a beautiful story, but it is coming to a close as far as the hell. Okay, the rough patches, the rough parts. All right, we're about to enter into a time of peace, of restoration, of love. All right, where the family structure again is beautiful, because the Lord didn't create, man to be at odds against women and women to be at odds against men. The Lord didn't create it as such. All right, but once again, Esau asked, this is what happened when you let a damn child be in control, man. They just fuck everything up, man, all the way down to the family structure. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Mukakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, peace, love, and salutations to the whole flolet. Till next time, Shalom.